hello, and welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, tell a friend, follow us on Twitter and IG. Okay, this is the second episode of our Housewives Roundup today. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 12, Beverly Hills Blackout. Jump in Jahoozy Fats.
Of all the nothing burgers this week, this was the most interesting. But I want to let you do your recap
I
first.
don't have a recap. I've been
Okay,
busy
cool.
today. No
No
recaps.
worries.
Just jump in.
We can just jump in. Okay, I'm just gonna start with characters. Let's start with Sutton. For
Mm-hmm.
Sutton, I feel bad for her because in their time it's Christmas and I guess the kids are with the ex-husband and
And
the
his new
girlfriend
girlfriend.
in Italy that she didn't know. Like that
And a
sucks. And then
serious girlfriend at that.
I was like, ooh, that's tough. And like, she's talking to Kyle and
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be alone for Christmas and then she's hoping Garcelle comes to Garcelle, girl, you already had the COVID, so just come on
Mm-hmm.
over. And you'll be fine. And I felt bad for her. Like, I'm like, I get it. And she's probably used to having her family around and to be
Mm-hmm.
all by herself, and she's dating a new man that she seems interested in.
Same
That's good
shit.
for her. She met
Mm-hmm.
him on the Bumble. That was too cute when she said the Bumble though.
Well,
Met
wait,
him
when
on the
she
Bumble.
said, I called all my ex-boyfriends.
Right? I was like, Sutton.
So, and
You
like, I
know?
don't think she's used to being by
Right.
herself.
She's
Oh,
not. She used to have, she has three kids and an ex-husband, so she's used to that family and all that good stuff. And I'm like, she'll get through this. Like, it's one, it's gonna happen. I think this must be her first one with the kids being.
probably.
I think it's probably the first one. The way she's acting, it seems like it.
And I think getting sick on top of that, the complete isolation.
Yeah, you have to quarantine. You have to be by yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's not like she could go out and be with friends.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
All
But
right.
her
Let's.
awkward date with Sanjit, though.
It was hilarious. I'm sorry. I
But I
had to
think
laugh.
he's perfect for her.
Yeah. Here.
'Cause he's just as awkward.
Yes.
And sharing the readers, you find your mate if y'all could share readers.
Right.
Hey everybody. Hi Sunway. Hi Skippy. Hey Kira. Hi Liz. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um I got one question for you. What did you think of Kathy? How she handled the drunken slurring of it all, apology and scarlet letter, um, confession of Erica, and then went back to her sister them group inside and her opinions on the situations.
That's just Kathy being Kathy. She's like basically she's kind of like it's like whatever. She just
When
she
Kathy
just
jumped up and said, I gotta go.
yeah.
Gotta go.
She was just she was just okay. Like she was really just lost. But she was like, okay, I understand. Thank you. She's like, at least you responded. She's like, if you hadn't responded, that'd be another thing.
I wonder what her internal dialogue was. It was like, bitch, I didn't want you there anyway.
Right.
I didn't want
I
no evidence.
or like, did I invite you?
Oh my God, yes. Were you really invited?
Right. Oversight.
I've got to talk to my social secretary. God. Um, the reason why I got that picture.
Kira, no, Kira, I did not see Kyra. Sorry, I did not see the after show. I tend not to watch them. I need to. They're still talking. Kathy, and Erica. So what were you saying, Debbie? Uh oh, Debbie, you frozen? Hold on, guys. Sorry, let me see if Debbie's frozen. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Oh, Sutton and her date. Oh, so Sutton and her date. So Sutton and her date are still talking, but they're friends. Oh, I wonder what kind of friends. There's all different types of friends when we become adults. I'm curious. All right, who do we have next? Let's talk about Dorit. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm glad Dorit is back to the fashions and the confessionals because the chic nun thing was kind of getting to me a little bit. It was boring. There was nothing to it. But I want to know what you guys think about the situation with PK. The fact that he withheld information from Dorit, very pertinent information. And I understand sometimes you will not tell your spouse certain things. I do get that, but when it's something of this magnitude, about like a potential DUI, I think that's something you don't keep from them. And so they were going back and forth, and I was team Dorit on this one. And then when he had the nerve to tell her, like, basically I only told you because I had to, and I'm like, that's not the right way to go, sir. That's not way to go. That's no, 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 no. You don't do that because you can't tell your wife just bits and pieces of a situation, especially when the police are involved. Oh, Skippy, he got pulled over for a suspicion of a DUI, and he there was some I can't remember exactly what details he left out, but there was a key part he didn't. I want to say he left out the part where he got pulled over. I think that's what was missing. That's just what it is. I think that's what happened because she was really upset. So it had to be that he got pulled over. He's like, well, I would have called you, but I didn't want to upset you after your incident. And she's like, what? No, that's not gonna work for me. So guys, Debbie's having technical difficulties. Difficulties. She may or may not be back. So I'm gonna do my best with remembering the episode because I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of boring in my opinion. So my apologies. Who's next? Oh, let me finish with Dorit and PK. So that was just kind of interesting. I agree with, like, again, I agree with Dorit. Just go ahead and tell everything. Don't wait. Get all in the open so there's no tension. Who would we have next? Oh, Diana. Diana's house is fantastic. Diana's house is great. I do like the fact that she and Garcelle, um, she was able to call it. She was able to talk to Garcelle, and they seem to be okay. But I do think Diana is taking out her frustrations with Sutton on Garcelle. That's why she said, "Oh, I'm not sure if it's Garcelle or if it's because you know Sutton's not here." Hey,
Hey, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened, but all of a sudden I was disconnected from
yeah.
StreamYard.
Oh, Steve has been kicking people off all week.
Oh,
Just kicking people off. So we got through Dorit. We're on Diana. I was just talking about how Diana and Garcelle got to talk, and I was telling Chad that it seems like basically Diana was holding Sutton against Garcelle, which is, as an adult, you
mhm,
don't do. Diana apologized for how she acted,
mhm,
and that was great. That was good,
mhm.
but this episode with Diana, she was likable, and I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't.
You
I'm like,
really thought she was likable this episode?
she was okay, likable into relation to what she's given us so far. I'll put it that way.
But you didn't see the ulterior motive behind that apology?
Oh, no, I did. I'm judging her against herself.
But that makes me not like her even more.
That's why I said she's likable compared against herself. And when I was watching it, I was like, it was the apology, but then it went around the corner to distance Sutton, and
Right.
that's what kind of made me go like, I was like, me. I try with every first Dear Housewife, just like I did with Crystal. This is Diana is my new Crystal. I'm trying to find something here, trying to find something. But when she apologized, okay, good job, Diana, you're on the right track, fantastic. But then, like I said, she had to turn that apology into a diss of sudden. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I had to put you in the corner because you just can't let mess go. It wasn't that deep. It wasn't that deep.
Diana has chosen her side. I'm not here for it because she's following Rena's directions.
But she's Rena's friend, though. She was brought in through Rena, so I don't hold that.
Is she?
I,
But
I
she's also
yeah,
Crystal's friend and Kathy friend.
right. But her interest was through Rena.
All them
So we
fake
have to,
friendships that Rena be bringing on here.
yeah, yeah. That's why we have to. That's why we have to remember that.
Mm. Just like Sutton was a friend of Rena.
Yeah,
And now Sutton's the target.
right.
And they trying to
Rena,
get Garcelle to turn against Sutton so
right.
that they could get rid of Sutton and then next year get rid of Garcelle.
Oh, in my opinion, let's talk about Rena. Hmm. Rena is laying the trap. Rena is laying the trap. She sees the handwriting on the wall that Erica is actually a liability, that Erica is on her way out, and she can't be aligned with that. Because she went to her house to
Mm-hmm.
tell her that
Uh-huh.
she has issues
Mm-hmm.
on
She
camera.
had the come to Jesus talk that
Right.
Kyle has been ignoring all of these past episodes.
Right. But you notice how Rena made sure to do this on camera
Mm-hmm.
because she setting Erica up for the reunion. I'm telling you. Because Garcelle was saying the same thing in front of everybody. But, tactfully. Rena made sure to tell Erica on camera, if this is your real friend, your real friend, you'd have took them behind the scenes and talk to them about it. You don't do that on camera because um, when Erica sat down with Garcelle, she's like, guess who came to my house? Who? Lisa Rinna. She just read me the riot act. Take
Mm-hmm.
that. And then when I look back at you look at the scene and how Rinna did that, you could tell they not had that conversation behind the scenes because Erica's reaction was not of somebody who like, okay, we've already talked about this.
Mm.
And
I don't
she
think she
and
would
she
have had Mikey stay either.
exactly. And she's talking about, Mikey, like she's like in her confessional. Well, I'm like Mikey's like family to Erica, and I'm the closest to Erica, and she needs to hear what we have to say. I'm like, who is this we? Because you was doing all the talking. Mikey was just sitting there like,
Why am I still
well,
here? My hourly
yeah,
rate ran out 15 minutes ago.
right, and well, and Erica, you're not that big of a drinker. I'm like, oh, you been trying to set Mikey up too. She done threw Mikey into the foolishness.
Wow.
That scene was Kyra, exactly. That scene was such a
Mm-hmm.
setup, and how Rena did her like that. I was like, wow.
But she also gave her marching orders. We didn't see those because her assignment was get together with Garcelle and then turn Garcelle
Mm,
against Sutton.
hmm
Part two. Hmm.
Like, what were your like? Did you see the scene? Did you see that scene the same way I did,
Which
or
one? The
were the
Lisa.
the Rena and Erica come to Jesus?
That scene was so fraudulent. So fraudulent. I was just like, really? This
But
the
did you
best
see it?
y'all could do?
But did you see? But did you see it as fraudulent as like damn like Rena set her up and threw her clean under the bus, or was it more?
Here's the thing. Lisa Rinna always has ulterior motives, and the only person that Lisa Rinna is concerned about is herself and no one
Thank
else.
you.
She always aligns herself with whoever she thinks is the strongest that particular season. This season, she's a little off because of Miss Lois's passing. and she got a late start. I
Mm-hmm.
think the target has always been Sutton, but I'm wondering, this can't be over the charity event table
Right.
seats or whatever. This has to be something more, because it can't be indignation over Sutton going after Erica, because Lisa don't care.
Right.
She just doesn't. So I'm wondering what Sutton did to her. Is it because Sutton just didn't become a puppet? Is it that deep?
It could be.
Mm. Well, let's not forget Delilah Bell was reading Rena and Harry for filth. Ooh. Well, I don't know. I still think that Lisa Rinna thinks that she is smarter than and more duplicitous than everybody else, right?
Right.
But I think she seriously miscalculated and underestimated Sutton and Garcelle.
Right. For sure.
I think Garcelle, because she was so hesitant in her first season, they were like, good. They thought she would continue being like that. And I think Erica gave it away and said, I'm so glad you have Cherie, because Sutton is no good for you.
Right.
So that tells me, well, we're going to take the two black girls down eventually. Or even worse yet, they're both non-motherfucking factors.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And it's interesting to me that Erica's like doing her hairline. She's like, I've had it all, I've lost it all, so I'll get it all back. I'm like, you're not getting it all back. And
Yeah.
I'm still mad at you. I still want to see the record, because I need to. I want to know. Because here's the thing: as shrewd as Erica is, you're not going to sit up here and tell me that you're banking on your hairline to give you the lifestyle you want to have. I don't see that. I need to see what properties in your mama's name and your son's name. That's what I want to see. Because you're not going to tell me. Because Erica's a smart woman. Let's not even play games with that. You're not going to tell me you don't have no cash, no money, no property stashed away somewhere in someone else's name. Because how are you affording Mikey? Mikey don't work for free. How are you affording assistance? Who's funding this hairline?
I find her, I wonder if, okay, because this season she's constantly talking about peen and constantly trying to, like, that's all she wants. I wonder if that is like code for something else.
Right.
She doesn't make sense. She's in desperate need of funds in order to keep what little she has left.
Exactly. Was there
Hmm.
was there anything else in this episode that you found that stood out to you that we haven't talked about? Because to me, what the most important things were Sutton's date, the
Oh, you thought that was
Erica.
important? I thought
Hmm?
that was filler. I thought Sutton's date was
It's
filler.
important. It's important. We need to see Sutton like in a different capacity than just being a punching bag. So to me, it was important. Um, Rena and Rena and Erica's little produced scene where Rena threw Mikey under the bus and Erica under the bus too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Diana and Garcelle's little talk, and PK and Dorit, PK lying again, and Dorit being mad. We already talked about that. And then the end was when Erica was trying to get, Garcelle to turn on Sutton. And we hit all those points. So was there
Mm-hmm.
any do you think there's anything we missed out of this episode?
No, that was it. You had
I
more high
mean,
points than I did.
so we're at the 20-minute mark, and Kyra asked, "We have time? Do we have a couple minutes for call-ins? The game?"
Yeah, sure. As long as
Oh,
I don't conk out again. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Have at it. Oh, not exactly a dud. Erica and Tom bought the spelling mansion under. Oh my God, I heard that yesterday as well. Allegedly. Hello, love.
Oh, thank
Hey.
you for not thinking I'm annoying for asking me to call in again. Again.
We
Let's
got about,
have at it.
we got about 10 minutes. We
Okay.
can do a little session.
I'll only do it if it's like I feel like I know it's a filler episode, since I feel like it's so interesting what's going on outside of the show.
Right?
It makes you look at the show differently, and that's why I did the thumbnail, because of that little vacation trio that came back from Hawaii who got the summons. What was the summons that she got?
She got served.
She got served. Yeah.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
Hey.
So I wanted to talk first about Crystal, because every episode and the things she's saying outside of the show, why is she's Miss Dark. And now I feel like more and more that she talks, I understand maybe why Garcelle peeped her earlier. Because Crystal kind of reminds me of my first Asian friend that made me feel like a Black friend. Because, yes, Debbie's face was like, what? Because I'm like looking back at it last year, I like that Crystal called out Sutton for what she said about don't see color. But I always felt a little weird about when Kathy said the same thing, and she was mums the word until Garcelle said something. And then we get to this season. Her friend, Dirty Diana, is running the internet streets wild. All of a sudden, Crystal's calling her, screaming at her, what do you mean by Black? And then Crystal was in the comments when she called out Garcelle for Garcelle saying she's undereducated, talking about Crystal doesn't lie. Crystal's in those comments saying, yes, I don't lie. And now she was at Kathy's premiere party for her friend of the role. And she was talking about Diana and saying people just don't like Diana because she's not folding to their will. She's not, trying to change herself for the audience. No, B, your friend is boring beforehand, and then we always thought she was a little off, and then she proved to be a racist. And you were on ET News talking about we don't like her because she's not folding to our will. No. So that one, I was just like, ooh. Every time she hits me differently. And we all know if Sutton or Garcelle said the things that Erica said at that Christmas party, Crystal would have blown up. But instead, Crystal said nothing to Erica, brushed her off in her confessionals, and it's in the after show making excuses for Erica. But if that was Sutton or Garcelle, Crystal would have lost it.
I guess the bank accounts, I feel she decides who she's going to speak against based on bank accounts.
Well, Erica's bank account is fraudulent.
Well,
right. Garcelle is worth more than Erica.
She is, but for some reason with Erica, it isn't bank account. It's wanting to be with the it girls. I think that's how she sees her. Or it could be her body dysmorphia because Erica is the white blonde woman that she's always wanted to be.
I go that girls.
But see, then I feel like that's the reason why she doesn't like Sutton. Because I was like doing my little like podcasting last year, like last week listening, and I feel like Sutton's more petite than Erica. And no, I didn't know that Sutton was like actually a dancer and was dancing until like her mid-30s.
Yeah.
And she's on I know why she cares now. She's on the board for the American Association for Ballet.
Right.
She's on a lot of boards.
Right.
And so I feel like that might be why Sutton irritates her more. And then Erica is like the new cool girl. Because Erica is a white woman trying to be a Black woman.
Well, on some days with that ponytail for sure from the beauty supply.
Oof. Oh. No, a Black woman would never.
I know, but that's where those are available at the beauty supply.
I know.
There we go. You know what I'm saying?
But you see, Sutton is very deceptive. I think Sutton came on here and they all thought, oh, she married into her money. Like,
mm-hmm.
Even though she built it, but she's smart. You can't be sitting on boards if you dumb like a box of rocks, or like you married Tom Girardi and started flashing your titties, singing about how it's expensive to be me. She is an arm candy. She was an equal partner with her husband.
Yeah.
Right.
And they built that together. And so when they divorced, that's why he had no issues with giving her basically half of everything.
Right. Are they officially divorced yet? They didn't settle up yet, right?
I think
They're divorced.
Yeah, they're
No,
divorced.
they
I thought
divorced.
she just said, didn't she say a couple episodes ago that she couldn't divorce him yet because
Oh,
she
No, you're talking about
wants he
Erica.
would make her pay
Erica.
alimony? Are you talking
Oh,
about
we're talking about
Erica?
Erica.
Sorry, I thought you
Yeah,
were
Erica.
talking about Sutton. Sorry, Erica. Yeah, with Erica, how she can she divorce a person who's mentally incompetent though? Haven't they
You
declared him?
can't, but
She
you
should be because
can't.
she's not her. She's not his conservator. Like his brother is.
But she doesn't want to divorce him because she divorces him. She got to pay him alimony.
I
But
think she really doesn't want to divorce him because then they can testify against each other.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking too. It's mutually because I think she's still in
Well, they
cahoots with
can now.
him.
Well, they can now though.
Why?
Like the whole. There's no law that says you can't testify against
Yeah,
your
but it's a
spouse.
privilege.
You just can't be compelled. You
Yes.
can waive that privilege if you want to.
Mhm.
People
But
just
it's a
don't do
privilege
it
now that you're still
because they're
married.
generally involved.
Right, but she also said that Tom is still calling her and this, that, and the other. So I think they are keeping each other on the line so that because Debbie was about to say, I believe mutual annihilation is what's about to happen. And if either of them turn on each other, they both can destroy each other because they know that one was Erica White and one is really from Italy.
Yeah, so basically what it is, she's staying married to him, in my opinion, is because if they stay married, they can't be compelled to testify against each other.
It
If
doesn't
they
have
get
nothing to do with
divorced,
alimony.
no, that's the lie she's telling. But if they do get divorced, they can be compelled to testify against each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's she's just using alimony as like, oh, I'm not trying to pay. I'm like, you lying.
She's a
lie.
liar. She's such a freaking liar. And a pill popping alcoholic, allegedly, that's not a good look, lady. That's not a great look. I mean, when she is, and then she's fighting for earrings that I started thinking about those earrings. I was like, why does she want those earrings back so bad? I saw this movie once where the earrings had a diamond lasered into the diamonds that was really like the key to the cryptocurrency or something like that. Maybe that's why she's fighting for these earrings so hard, because
all of those like large, good quality diamonds do have a laser signature in them, so you can trace where they're from. What if they're blood diamonds?
Wow.
It's just
that would be right along in her aesthetic then.
But
I liked
part was crazy.
You're right about how Crystal doesn't say everything to everybody she could. And I think she is torn between the blonde blues and her ethnic self, because in one of the episodes, she called herself a person of color. And then she turned around and she loves the blonde blues so much that she's, in their allegiance. But then she does turn on Sutton like she's a little jealous of the space between Sutton's knees. And then she turns on Garcelle. Like one moment she's her sister, her person of color sister, and the next moment Garcelle is an issue. Like she needs to pick a side, but it's all within herself.
She's very conflicted. She's very conflicted
because like inside of herself, she's not comfortable.
No.
You know what I mean? She never looks comfortable in any of these scenes. She kind of looks like a shy little wallflower girl sitting over there. Like, please don't yell at me too. Don't look over here too long. Oh, when can we leave? And then how she self-deprecated herself when she walked in that beautiful green dress. Oh, I'm the Grinch. Oh, I'm the Grinch. Oh, I'm the Grinch. It was just so weird. She looked so good, but she doesn't see it, And then Diana and her Mrs. Roper attire looked like a proud
garbage
mama.
bag.
And her dude can really sing. No wonder homeboy Broadway.
The musician in me was upset that he had sheet music in front of him for a Christmas song, as someone who's played many of Christmas recitals. Like, oh, holy night, in the back of her head. So that annoyed me.
Yeah. And then Erica's drunk crooning in the corner. I'm surprised she didn't get an elbow in the rib from Diana for messing up her son. I mean, her husband's her solo.
For real, these last two episodes were product placements for Diana. Let's just call a thing a thing. Last week it was the bar with the drink, and this week was her son / husband.
Right.
And his fledgling musical career.
And a setup to separate Sutton and Garcelle, because that apology was about Debbie. Yes, we are not giving her any points because first of all, she still didn't really actually apologize for the text. Also, we're not going to pretend that she didn't say Garcelle was unwelcoming long before her birthday party, which is where she really showed her behind to Garcelle.
Right.
And then
that
it was
entrance
all
that she made in Garcelle's party, I didn't feel like she truly apologized for upstaging that entrance and bringing in that book
no one
cake
was paying
and
attention to her
all of
at
that
the
stuff.
entrance.
Like that was just so over the top ridiculous. But all she apologized to Garcelle for that we saw was when she was taking up for Sutton. She wasn't really apologizing for any of her other rude ass behavior.
Yes, and Erica goes later and says that Sutton's a liability. And I went to see the after show because, like, I think that because maybe people don't know, like, also, like, Bravo has been trying to get Garcelle on Beverly Hills for a while now, which is why she told them she would be really busy. And they still allowed her to be a full-time housewives her first season, even though she was barely there, because she told them she was busy.
Right.
And so I think they understand that they can't fully run her off, and also that we've gotten a tinge, a little touch on the tongue of racism. Yeah. And so on the after show, I found it so interesting that Erica and her lackey Dorit are having this conversation about how she changed the meaning of liability of like, Sutton's a liability for Garcelle being their friends. Of like, I can't be a friend with you at the stake of you standing up for Sutton. Yeah, like we just can't get through to her because of Sutton. It was all about them not being able to be friends with Garcelle because of Sutton. They can't get to know her because of Sutton.
I just found that gaslighting. Oh my God, I'm liking it. I'm liking it, y'all.
Yes, and then it's like, and then she also said Garcelle was hard with me, and Dorit was like, "Do you think it was more of concern or judgment?" I feel like Garcelle would have been softer with me because of her son going through his own addictions. But in the show, Garcelle started, "Oh, you were a bit tipsy last time," and Erica was like, "No, I was blacked out." And Garcelle's like, "Well, I was trying to start off slow." And Erica said, "Well, I appreciate that, but I was blacked out." So how are you appreciative of her coming to you slowly and with kindness? But in the after show, now you're saying she always has this hard line with me when it comes to these things. Yes, because this woman just said she listed off at least 3 different brain medications that she's mixing with alcohol.
No
now,
bueno.
it's a storyline, but that means people get to react to your storyline.
Exactly. And that's a really dangerous thing that I feel like Bravo needs to be more responsible with their programming in this regard. Like they have basically 3 well-known Bravo celebrities admitting to constantly mixing pills and alcohol and then going to work. You know what I'm saying? And because their work is this show. And that's not a good look. I mean, a producer needs to get in somebody's ear and be like, shut that down. Because it's dangerous.
But Jamal, when was it that Garcelle signed? Sorry, I'm off on a tangent now.
Okay.
When did Garcelle ink that deal with Comcast, Universal, NBC Studios, that production deal?
Ooh, it had to be last year because it was pre-season.
Or was it early this year during filming? Because you notice that okay, Sutton was always a target, but I think they were going for Sutton and Garcelle together. And now Rinna has changed her tactics.
It was February. It was reported on, I can see, on February 14th of this year, so you're right.
I think they got a sniff of her dealings with the bosses. She's about to become untouchable.
Supposedly, like Lisa Rinna was.
But you girls brought this out of me. It just occurred to me during our conversation. She signed with the big bosses, a big production deal, even though she knew that the Real was coming to an end, because we all knew the Real was coming to an end.
Yeah, everyone knew that. That was no shock at all. Let's be honest, the Real has been coming to an end for the last 2 or 3 years.
I'm getting a little extra check.
Tamar got kicked off.
Since
Tamar got kicked off, the Real's been coming to an end.
This is true.
What did you say, Kyra? I missed what you said. Sorry.
No, I was saying that I don't even blame Garcelle then getting quick extra little checks to show up and shoot for one day for 2 or 3 episodes. I'll show up for a whole day. I shoot all the episodes I need to for the month, and I leave and I get my extra check and knowing this job is over, and it'll help me get other things.
Yeah, she didn't even have to leave the house for most of her time on the Real.
Oh yes, you're right. Because most of it was during COVID.
Yeah.
Now that
And
you
when
bring up this whole deal too, that would that's really interesting that she has a deal with NBC and she's coming after these ladies. But I think that might be why we have never gotten an angry Black woman stereotype from Garcelle, because she's protecting her brand so that she doesn't come off like a stereotype. Because a lot of the stuff that she's having to endure in these conversations, I know she really feels like doing a neck roll or something, or looking at them literally cross-eyed for what they just said. But she plays it so cool and graceful, like nothing's gonna shake her. She is so above it all. I love it. But that deal would explain it all, right? Like, wouldn't that?
Well, this happened before this deal because she did show us that side. Remember when Norit was trying to call her a bully and tried to nitpick at her at that dinner?
Yeah.
The sunglasses could not hide the look that was on her face, and she said "F you, F you,
Right.
F you," and got up. And I feel like the women always kind of knew that she would be a threat of being untouchable. And so then you build to this year, in a sense that she plays things so like people always want her to go like completely off. I think it's more about not necessarily being the angry Black woman, but understanding how to play this game in Beverly Hills, because she could go off like Rinna. Rinna does go off, but Garcelle plays it so cool. And then in the after shows and on Twitter and everything like that, the girls are acting crazy like she cursed them out. She was acting. I feel like people thought she was too nice to Erica about her son. Right?
Yeah.
And then she keeps seeing you drinking and mixing pills. And she finally now this is the second time of her bringing up to your face one-on-one now at dinner. And you even say, thank you for being, soft with me, slow with me. And now in the after show, you're saying she's so hard with you, you just can't get through to her. So for me, it sets them up to always look bad because she's being too nice. We all know she's being too nice. And then they still can't handle it. So I feel like it's a lose-lose for them.
Erica speaks gaslight. That's all she does. She's just trying to deflect, and Sutton is a liability to Erica because she doesn't shut up about Erica. So in that regard, it's true. But as far as like a liability to Garcelle and her being friends, no. I think the more friends, they wanted Garcelle on an island by herself. That's part of the reason Denise had to go. They planned on coming in for Garcelle the next year, but then all the stuff with Erica came up and they had to guard Erica from Sutton instead. So they were planning on getting Garcelle this year, but Garcelle beat him to the punch playing bone collector and, stirring all the pots. Like, she keeps beating them to the punch. They haven't really got a chance to get a lick in on Garcelle yet because she's so proactive in producing these scenes.
Yeah, she's out producing even Kyle, which is amazing.
Yes,
because Kyle has come off as very much amateurish this season.
Such an amateur. And it's so obvious that she has Erica's back for no reason. Like, you literally called your blood sister an alcoholic on TV for years, but you're not willing to call a pill popping, thieving, lying, identity thieving alcoholic because it's dangerous. No,
right. When she said that,
it's because Mauricio sold Erica White the Spelling Mansion and all of that stuff. That is their connection from way back. Because I've been wondering, why was Erica getting such an allegiance from Kyle? Because usually Kyle would seem like she might speak truth to power, but if her husband did some backwards shenanigans stuff on that deal, then no wonder she has Erica's butt prints for lipstick.
The fact that Kyle said, like, I'm really sensitive about, like, just throwing those words around, and I just went through that with my own sisters. That's why I'm really careful about doing that. And Garcelle's baiting me.
But did you see the look on Kathy's face?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
She was like, insert Kim.
Right.
That was a mess. She stepped into that one. I don't know why she would say that, because she has to know that everyone would be on Twitter or on Instagram lighting her up and replaying that clip of her screaming at her sister the first season about her being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Kyle feels that she's untouchable.
But
she
why?
Really does.
Is she a producer? For real?
She's been there from the beginning. She assembled the original cast, and she has the in with production. So
for now, Alex left.
For now, but I think once she watches this season and she sees that she's being replaced by Garcelle, I think that's why she turned from last season being against Garcelle to this season trying in some way to produce with Garcelle. But she slips and gets drunk on the job, like she did at Garcelle's birthday, and fucked it up. And then, she abused Sutton in that scene.
You can't come for Sutton and still want to be Garcelle's friend right now.
No, but physically, did you the bruises?
No, that was just disturbing.
Those bruises, that was aggressive.
That was disturbing.
You talking about that? Ooh, let Garcelle try to grab somebody. Ooh, that would have been a talk of the town and left bruises.
I have to watch the after show now that you're talking about that, because I think whether Garcelle is angry or not, they're still going to try to paint her with the angry black woman.
That's my point.
They do.
And it's the only argument they have, because they're lazy and ignorant.
They're so lazy.
Well, and also Kyle and Crystal are that whole after show is about Garcelle and Sutton and a bit of Erica. Kyle, for this episode, Kyle spoke, I believe, twice, and Crystal spoke, I believe, once. And so I think
is the after show the one where Kyle is in like that salmon colored Mrs. Brady outfit?
Oh, yes. Mrs. Brady, I gotta go check it out.
Yes.
I have to watch that. I haven't watched any yet.
She and Crystal are barely speaking. And then also it was what was I gonna say? I was gonna say that that also I don't think they realize that they're showing us that this is more of an alliance than a friendship. Because the fact that Kyle and Dorit keep talking about how, like, we've known you for 7 years and we just never seen you like this. And then Erica's like, yeah, this is just like the real me, just me. I was just being cold. I'm like, you are all telling me then that this entire time that you've known this woman, it was all a lie, down to her personality. And now this is the real her. I feel like they don't understand that you are now telling me y'all did not know a single thing about this woman, and quote unquote until now, because now she's drinking and mixing pills.
Yeah. And she did used to have that ice queen reputation. That's interesting. I wonder why she would let go of the ice queen for a Lush.
Because the ice queen costs too much money. So
well, this is true.
You be what your budget dictates, and her budget dictates that she's a pill popping Lush, allegedly.
Right, allegedly.
But I don't even think that that's true either. She's just a really bad actress.
I was thinking she was giving us a good Dudley Moore.
I don't think she gives half of a Dudley Moore from Arthur.
Yeah.
No, not even.
I'm getting more and more confused if it is a ploy or not. Because I was like, watching, because I've been in my depression, so Beverly Hills and talking to everyone has been like my fun. And I was just watching, someone said maybe she's only doing it when it's about to be group scenes. That way she could really be out of it and no one's really talking to her about anything. Because my thing is,
I think her attorneys told her this would be a good track so that nobody can ask you anything. And if you do respond and slip, it's incoherent. You were drunk and on pills.
Because also, I feel like it's not, because like Fox Force 5 generally have a group storyline, and so the way that Rinna set the scene up and the way that Kyle's behaving, they are acting like these are two separate storylines. Kyle's trying to act like this is not happening, but Rinna, because for me, I feel like Garcelle put Erica on notice. You're mixing your alcohol and your pills, and so if you keep doing this after I've told you, it's no longer an excuse. So now Rinna's trying to have a quote unquote serious rehearsed conversation with her. Meanwhile, Kyle and Dorit are acting like it's not happening. So for me, these are two separate storylines that the friend group is trying to figure out.
Yeah,
because Rinna's gone rogue. Rinna and Kyle used to coordinate, but Kyle is trying to keep some sort of semblance between the girls. She's trying to wrangle the kittens, and it's not working. And Rinna is like, fuck this, my mother's dead, and I'm coming after everybody who I feel has done me wrong, when she should be looking at her husband.
I gotta take a work call, so I'll see you at 15.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So yeah, I think that the Fox Force 5, or however many of them they are now, I think that there is division in those ranks. I don't think that there's any clear leader, and I think it's going to be messy, because Garcelle and Sutton, and now Cherie. What's her name? Is it Cherie or Sheree? Cherie. Okay, I get mixed up between the two shows. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting to me that Erica mentioned it's good that you have Cherie. They're scared of Cherie too.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because Cherie did a interview with what's the guy who does the Velvet Ropes, and he was like, she had good things to say about Diana and Erica. So I think it's more they think they can break Cherie, and that Sutton can't be broken like that.
Underestimate them. They always underestimate
This
them.
is true.
And I think they were a little put off the way how she took the air out of the balloon when Garcelle and Erica were having that conversation regarding how Erica spoke to Garcelle's son.
Right.
I think they're always very reactionary and they don't read the room at the right time. And that's their biggest mistake. What's her name? Kyle reads the room a season too late. And the best one at it is Rinna, but this year her mom died, so she's not at 100%.
Also, I don't think it's just the mom, because we keep forgetting Delilah Bell was up on the interwebs on Instagram reading out Harry and Rinna for not helping taking care of her when she was overdosing on accident on Xanax and had to go to rehab because she was having all these health problems and they weren't paying for anything.
And that's another
that happened around October and November.
And that's another reason why this storyline about mixing pills with alcohol and Rinna supporting it until yesterday was actually, that could be a slap in the face to Delilah too, because Delilah was just saying, you don't support me. You're not trying to help me. And then she was supporting.
I had to research it. I had to research it daily because I thought about it earlier and someone says, oh, that's not the right timeline. And I looked at it. There are articles about it for like November 3rd. So I'm thinking it happened around like late October, early November. And they were filming during that time. And Lewis had died around that time.
Did the Christmas thing. They just showed us Christmas.
Minute.
You're right.
Didn't Garcelle question Rinna with regards to body image and her daughter?
And her
Amelia.
And that was
Amelia.
That was the other one. Right? That was that was the dark hair,
brunette,
not the blonde.
No, the blonde was the one on Instagram, Delilah Bell.
Right.
And it was the brunette. What's her name? Amelia Gray was the one who has the eating disorder.
Is the one that was dating the Kardashians' daddy? Okay.
Yes. So
maybe that's why Rinna doesn't like Garcelle.
Because she said that about Delilah's eating thing?
Well, just calling out her mothering and her behavior on social media, and if that's not impacting how her kids feel about themselves.
I think it was a very valid question. If you have a daughter with body dysmorphia,
and she also talked about her son before she asked that question, because she brought up her son's addiction before she asked that question.
So here's the thing, though, it is a valid question, and the truth always hurts the most. And what does a hurt dog do?
Holla!
Exactly. And Rinna is always a hurt dog.
Yeah. Or
I know our time's almost up, so I wanted to sorry. I know our time's almost up, so I wanted to rush this last thing of the lawsuit, non-lawsuit that all the lawyers are kind of figuring out what's going on. The only thing for me that's extra suspicious is that a lot of those people that they name resigned for their jobs. The Bank of America guy resigned. One of the Merrill Lynch guys resigned. Rick's partner, who was quote unquote in charge of the deal, resigned. The guy who was in charge of the deal at the agency resigned.
Yeah, because if they stay there, then they can bring down the whole company. So if
one of the lawyers turned in their I think he was a real estate attorney or something like that. He had turned in his law license after he did the deed.
He turned in his license.
So a lot of people, it might be a lawsuit, non-lawsuit, but a lot of people who were in it, named, walked away or turned in licenses and all kinds of things.
Wow. Oh, I can't wait till all that comes out.
So I think there's a little bit of truth, which is always why I'm always side-eyeing Diana, because Diana talks about the way her husband makes her money almost the same way Erica did. Erica was not Erica Jane for long. Erica talked about how she was in that law office, how she was helping him throw the parties, how she was helping him network and all kinds of stuff.
Remember that time she said, "Oh, I know everything that goes on in there." Remember? She said that before.
Remember when she said that she could help Sutton study for the bar, but yet when she was with her lawyers, the lawyers were saying she barely graduated with a high school diploma and she don't know what's going on? Which one is it?
Which one is it? It's
she said she
one
signed the
has the most
taxes.
gas. Whichever one has the most gas, it's about Erica Jane.
So I know it could be hard for her, but also people have to, like, people who have quote unquote sympathy for her, she is only being the main one. Everyone is being looked at. All the lawyers, the partners, everyone is being looked at right now.
Yeah.
That thing that she was served was a civil RICO charge, and she was served it.
That was RICO.
Already turned that into
she
the
got a
Fed.
RICO. That's racketeering. Is RICO?
Yes, it's a civil one. So Jay Edelson filed a civil RICO. They have already turned in that lawsuit to the Feds to look at.
They have that rapper dude up on RICO, and he's not expected to get out for like 100 years at this point. If they got a RICO charge, that's like years.
But again, it's civil, so there's no jail time. What it was, the lawyer, because you can file a civil RICO charge, but they also turned in their lawsuit to the Feds to look over. So the Feds look at it, then. So it's not just her, people. Everyone's being looked at. It's just that she's the idiot who stayed on TV.
Right. Her and Jen Shaw, they should have just dipped as soon as.
Let me tell you. Add Diana to that. I think Diana made a fatal mistake coming on this show.
She did.
Andy Cohen said it best. If you have something to hide, reality TV is not the place for you.
Right. Room 23. Wow. It's so interesting. I mean, maybe they should, instead of it just be reality TV, maybe it should be reality con or something like that, because so many of our faves are turning out to be fugazis. I mean, we've been looking at this pretty mess for all these years, being enthralled with her lifestyle, and it's literally off the backs of dead kids. Like, it's crazy. That's disgusting. And then with Diana, we're like, oh, look at her great house. Oh, look at her jet. And she may have been S-teen kids like Hayden Panettiere and stuff. That's crazy. That's disgusting. Get them off my screen. I'm triggered.
And I'm still questioning why she's on this show, because Sun explained that she just finished her divorce and she was trying to find friends and she was opening up a store. So that makes sense. Diana doesn't make sense why she would want to be on this. Because I feel like Sutton almost has as close to Kathy Hilton or Diana in money, even though someone says she's $50 million. You don't get into the Hermes book and you don't have access to Dolce & Gabbana apartment on $50 million.
But hold on. You're questioning why they chose to be on this show. I questioned the producer or the casting person who allowed them to become on the show. Because Sutton at least has a personality.
Yeah.
It's quirky, but she has a personality.
Yeah.
Diana is like a wet sack of shit.
She is so boring. But even before the race.
But she also has issues.
Yes.
Jen?
No, Diana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, why would you bring her on the show and bring all of that questionable luggage that she has dragging?
Because it's questionable, Debbie. It's something for us to talk about, which is why I looked at her, because I'm just like people act like it's a big deal. She sold that house. She lost money on that house. That house got several cut downs on how much it was for before she was able to sell it to the neighbor. You know, the house that was sold for $87 million. She lost money on the sale because she wanted it for more. The energy drink has been investigated and lawsuit from the FTC for like false claims for health benefits.
Yeah, that neural stuff.
The bodyguard and the Karen lawsuit, the employees in the lawsuit, and the whole thing is like she helped her husband because all of a sudden she knew all these Middle Eastern billionaires to give money to one of the London for the Barclays Bank. It just, and the Room 23 book. I think it's like they don't mind bringing on people who have questions because it gives us something to talk about. So I'm always looking at the person of like, why would you want to expose yourself? Because the producers are going to take in troubled people. The only thing I don't like is but I guess she's a new level because the whole thing is like, it's a madam. And then like also there was already a racist lawsuit against her. So those two things, it's not even just like a normal fraud case. It's like people think she's a madam and that she's a Karen already because she has a racist law. I don't know.
Didn't Robert Downey Jr. outed her about being a madam?
Well, they said it's not real.
Allegedly.
People are saying that it wasn't really him or he wasn't really talking about her. So I'm just going to go on things that are a little more long lasting, like the actual lawsuits I can find. And just like some of the paper trails. And the paper trails and the lawsuits that you can actually look at don't look great.
Oh, well, she might be next then. I know that they're never gonna have none of that stuff on my girl Garcelle though. Garcelle, she's gonna be free and clear. Sutton, with her daughter's friend coming out and saying that those couple of comments, that still didn't make me not like Sutton. Crystal, now 13 girls dropping you like a hot potato. I'm like, okay, Crystal, you might have some issues. Diana, her Room 23 book, definite issues. Rinna, her using her mom as a grieving her mom as an excuse to be deplorable. She's always been deplorable, so that's not a new excuse. Get something valid. Erica, she needs to fire Mickey. He must be drinking and taking pills with her. He keeps letting her leave the house with that horrible hairdo, those side bangs last night with that weird ponytail and that Cruella DeVille freaking jacket and still no panties. God, he needs to get fired. He needs to get fired. Who else is on the show? Sheree. I love her. I love Sheree Zampino. And then who else? What's the other one? Is there any? Did I miss anybody?
No, I think that's Crystal.
Oh, see, I always forget about her. I think I mentioned her though. Yeah, when 13 Friends Dump You, something's up.
Well, there's no one else. This was an odd show for me. And I'm gonna need Rinna to do better since it's coming. Like it's her swan song now. I see her time coming to an end.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, anyway, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I've got to run. Miss you guys, and I'm sorry, Running Gray Wolf. I'll do better next time. Okay. So join us in a couple of minutes for Dubai if you watch. Bring your notes, and that was kind of like a nothing burger for me, but
it wasn't as fillerish though.
I just don't like Stansbury, so.
Yeah, Stansbury is Stansbury. How is she an influencer or what on how to be boring and basic?
How to be a blonde, blue-eyed white woman. That's what she's an influencer on.
Well, I don't need notes on that shit.
Wait, Lisa Rinna is like a Kotex and tampons came out. And on that note, we will end our show.
Okay, Debbie, take it easy.
Love you, girls. Bye. Oh my goodness. So guys, thanks for joining us. Meet us in a couple of minutes for the Real Housewives of Dubai. And until next time, bye. Wait, let me find our little music. Bye.